Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is John C. Luna, and this is Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. Today is Monday, October 11th. Halloween is approaching. Well, today we got a whole bunch of subjects we're going to be talking about, but I'm running solo. Miss Angelique is out running some doctor's appointments and errands and is not able to be here today. But I came up with my own topics. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually coming out day. So that's going to be one of our topics, as well as talking about a concert we went to on Saturday called Earthday Birthday. If you're in the Central Florida area, you know all about it. It's been going on 27, 28, 27 years. I don't know. I went to like Earthday Birthday 2 back when the tickets were $3. And now I go ahead and go to the show. And thankfully, we were working it, but now the tickets are like 88, which is a big difference in that time. But yes, it was a great concert. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the upcoming medical play class we're doing, and also tomorrow is Angelique's birthday, and I have ideas, and I don't. I'm going to say them and hint to them, but I don't want to go ahead and just blurt them out there because chances are she's listening. So I got some surprises planned for her, but we're going to talk all about that in just a little bit. Let's see if you have any questions during this broadcast. Go ahead and throw them in the chat room, or go ahead and you can message us on either Instagram or Facebook at Sex Positive Me. Um, let's see this. Let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for a moment because I want to go ahead and this is one that I'm not just a fan of. I'm a regular user of. As you know, I'm in an open relationship. Um, which basically means we are somewhere between swinger and poly. Anyway, we have relationships with other people, and of course, there is safe sex involved. And one of our sponsors that we're mentioning today is One Condoms. And what I'm loving about this is they make a whole bunch of different types. The Vanish are my favorite because they are hyper thin. But they also make legend tattoos. Yes, tattoo, I said. This is the one we're going to do an experiment on. And I thought of actually getting an erection, putting one on, and then seeing exactly because it's supposed to leave a tattoo like imprint on your penis temporarily. I haven't done that yet. I haven't had these handy, but I am going to try it. I thought about doing it on the air. Probably not the best idea. Thank you, Facebook. But if you go to myonecondoms.com, they actually have this fit kit, and they have 60 different sizes available. I mean, if you think about that, if you go to a store and like Kohl's or any Sears, or God, is there Sears anymore, and buy clothes, to say there's 60 different sizes is not a big deal. But when you go to buy a condom, what is there? Regular and Magnum. And obviously, we're not all the same size, men, guys, people with penises. So go ahead and get one that actually fits you. So go ahead and download that fit kit, measure your unit, and get the right condom, and you will see a whole different opinion form on condoms. But we're going to be back in just a moment, and we're going to talk about, well, let's start with coming out day here on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6.
Doing great.
I am in the zone.
Just think how many times you haven't been poked.
That's true. I have not been poked even once. That sounds amazing, doesn't it? And the thing is, I found Angelique's poker, and I gave it back to her. Not even a thank you. She just started poking me again. Brutal. But I did marry her. And welcome back to Sex Positive Me on BFM 109.6. So I wanted to start this broadcast off, the first segment, really talking about coming out day. I really didn't know a whole lot about this. I mean, I came out in 2013 as bisexual to basically everyone, my family, my friends. Overall, it was a fantastic experience, but again, some positive, some negative. However, things have really changed a lot, even in the last 5 years. So I started doing a little research on coming out day because I will say I didn't actually consider myself bi my entire life. There was a point where I'm like, I think I want to explore some stuff. Decided I really liked it and went from there. And again, this is the acceptance of it has definitely changed a lot in recent years. But coming out, they actually started in 1988. And it was a year after the March on Washington in 1987, which was that year they did all those AIDS quilts. If you remember, during the 80s, for a while, the government wasn't acknowledging AIDS until basically some how would you put it, high visibility people died, and one was a young child. He was a teenager who got it from a blood transfusion. But then we had, oh God, it was one of Ronald Reagan's friends passed away, and it wasn't until that happened that AIDS really got on the map. And even before that, it was known as a gay disease. But again, a lot has changed since now and then. And we had a pride parade. I think a lot of people had, a lot of cities had pride parades, and had a lot of interesting straight people attend and support and get involved in it. So it's not just for, again, the LGBTQ plus community. It's also for the supporters. It's just going out there and showing your support. And now that we're coming up to today, which is again coming out day, because the weekend's kind of like the party, and then Monday is the coming out day, as far as the anniversary of that march in Washington. Um, I think a lot of people have said a lot on coming out as far as how difficult it is. But what about the people that people are coming out to? And you may not know what to do when someone comes out to you. But I guarantee you, when a person decides to come and talk to you about it, especially if they're one of the first people that they've come out to, and depending on where you live, there's a lot of places where coming out is a really big deal. I'm not saying it's not a big deal for everyone, but there's some places where, again, um, discrimination against the LGBTQ community is a lot bigger than others, especially towards the Midwest. Don't know why. Love the Midwest, love the places out there. But there are definitely a lot of smaller towns where it's maybe not as progressive and such. Not that I want to pick on that, but when someone comes out to you as either gay or bi or trans or whichever it is, it's okay not to know what to do and need time to process. However, I'm going to say, if someone does come out to you and says, again, they're any one of that, they're part of the LGBTQ plus community, the best thing you can do is just let them know that you're still their friend, you're still their family, you're still a person in their life. They're revealing a part of their life to you that is very dear and close to them. It's a part of their identity. It's how they feel. And to go ahead and have a knee-jerk reaction of, "Well, I never thought you were gay," it may not be. You may not even intend to hurt them. But in coming out like that and getting that knee jerk reaction, if they're the first couple people you're coming out to, you're setting the precedence of how they're going to come out to anyone else in the future. So if someone comes out to you and you turn around and go, "Well, gee, I never expected that. You don't look gay at all." To you, it just might be, again, a comment. To them, this may stop them from coming out to anyone else because they feel shameful. And again, it's a very societal religion. Again, religion's not bad. It's when religion is twisted and used as a reason to hate. That's when religion becomes a problem. Because at the core of it, no religion says hate, but but there's always a group that takes it and makes it change. But again, someone comes out to you, just be accepting. You don't have to go ahead and jump on, preferably be supportive, but let them know that you're still in their life. You're still their friend. Um, I remember I came out to Angelique, even in the first few weeks we were dating. And I said, "I'm not out." Actually, the way it worked was we were out. She had a habit in the first few months of us dating to get me to play hooky from work. Work wasn't that hard at that point, so it wasn't a big deal. And we were out walking through a store, and I just felt like, okay, now's the time. And what I said was, there's two things I'll never be. I will never be monogamous, and I will never be straight. I'm bi, and that's just the way I am. I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to hide who I am. I expected to go home alone, complete honesty. I said, okay, it was nice while it lasted. She threw me up against the wall and kissed me. And from then on out, I've been very grateful that she is in my life and supports me. But not everyone gets that kind of reaction. Not everyone gets it. And for some people I came out to, it wasn't that super supportive. Yay. It was, oh, yeah. Are you sure? Like, what do you mean, am I sure? But yeah, it's just something to think about. Um, I want to go ahead and talk about I guess, a gay community leader in this neighborhood, in the Florida area, who's been in the public a lot. And just because it's coming out today, and I've been thinking a lot about, what does it actually mean? Why do we even do it? I mean, why do we have to do a parade? We have to do all this. And what really came out of it was it's sort of like a celebration as well as a remembrance of what was past. And when I say that, there is a gay guy. He's in his, I'm going to say 60s at this point. I'm not going to mention any names, but he is a very much out leader in the community, that type of thing. Um, and he did a little play on his life. This is back, maybe 2016. They do a fringe festival. Have you ever heard of a fringe festival? It's basically a bunch of little plays, hour-long plays. They travel around the country and do this. There's a couple of them, but Orlando has a huge fringe festival. But he did a little play on his life, little self-autobiography. And what I liked about it was they had three guys play him, as well, him and two other guys, to play him at different ages in his life, in his 20s and in his 17, late 20s, and then one in his 30s, and then him. So they kind of switch off to kind of paint the scene of what his life was like in the 80s in Orlando, going through the AIDS epidemic. And again, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of heart-touching stuff going on. But one of the things that stuck with me from this play was that they were leaving a club, him and his boyfriend at the time, and they accidentally held hands for a minute because, again, if you're hiding, you're playing off as roommates and stuff, and you just go out to a club, have a good time, and go home. There wasn't actually a gay club, but walking home, they actually touched hands and held it for a minute, and someone saw that, and there was enough hate in these people that they said they were about 3 blocks from their house when they were pulled into an alleyway and beaten by 6 guys. So six guys on two, to the point where his boyfriend ended up in the hospital. Now, today, that's something that is like, oh my God, that's horrible. Back then, they filed a police report and nothing happened. Oh, well, it's just something happens when you do that. You shouldn't be doing that. That was kind of the answer they got. So when we say coming out day, and when we celebrate pride and we do all this, it's remembrance of what we have now and what other people have fought for, that we didn't have to. I've never had to fight for these rights, but other people have, and I get to enjoy those privileges. And I just really, as best I can, want to say thank you to all those people. They didn't mean to be heroes. They didn't want to be martyrs, or protesters, or a lot of them didn't want to do any of that stuff. A lot of them got in there by circumstance. A lot of them got in there because they were tired of being abused, tired of being less of a human being because of their sexual preference. And one of the things we will say in our coaching, in everything we do, your sexual preference does not affect anything else in your life. It doesn't affect the quality of person you are. It doesn't affect your interactions with children, or being able to be a parent, or any of those things. You should be able to be the person you are, and your sex is completely separate. So I went on enough about coming out day, but I wanted to go ahead and definitely bring that up because there are a lot of people, again, hopefully thinking about coming out. And as much as I want to say it's coming out is a great thing, it is for me a positive thing. it's a lot of stress because you can't go back in once you're out. Once you open your mouth and say that. So, as much as I say coming out's a great thing, if you're in a position, if you live in a household where coming out is literally going to put you in danger, don't. I safety is of course my highest priority for my listeners. However, if you are in a position where you're comfortable, if you're in a place, if you, even if you're not coming out to the world and you're just coming out to your best friend or a teacher or someone that you can talk to, sometimes just knowing that you're not alone and being able to vent all of that can feel so amazing. Can again can open up worlds, and it changes. This all affects who we are as people. So, but unfortunately, I did not get to go to the Pride parades this weekend. I did have a great time. I ended up at a concert. I know I'm tangenting right now. Um, Angelique also does tarot readings besides being a radio host, and was asked to do some readings over at the Earthday Birthday Music Festival. They don't call it a music festival, but essentially when you have 9 bands and 2 stages, and there was even amateur wrestling going on. So there was entertainment galore. And when I say amateur, oh my God. This was amateur. But we'll be back in a little while. We're going to keep talking about, well, Earthday Birthday in a little bit here on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. And we are back. And this segment is actually being brought to you by King Crate. King Crate is, well, discreetly delivered boxes of kink to your doorstep. And when I say kink, well, they've had a bondage crate, they had a medical play crate, a rope crate, an impact play crate, a puppy play crate. They had a crate on butt stuff. They had a crate on impact stuff. They have lots of different crates. And what's cool is if you missed it and you're just saying, I have to have that crate, you can go to their website and you can go ahead and buy just that crate. Or you can go ahead and subscribe to their crates and just get it delivered each month at a little more of a discount from there. So if you go to sexpositiveme.com and look for the Kink Crate logo, go ahead and give it a click. It'll take you to our store. Now, our store is where we get to choose those products. We go ahead and get to say what goes in our store and what doesn't. And we are going to be creating videos as soon as Angelique's done with her trip on all of those products. But most of the stuff I've been using on there is stuff from like, the Arcwave Ion to the Boneyard Soundings to some of the lubes and pheromones we use, a whole bunch of different stuff. What's nice though is all of these products that are in our store, one, we've used. We've definitely used them. We like them. But if you don't like to buy the individual pieces and you really just want to subscribe, well, you just click on that Join Now button and you fill it out. You pick a plan. You get to choose what kind of relationship you're in, or even if you're solo. Because, yes, they tailor the actual crates to what you want. And then go ahead and sit back and enjoy the crates coming. Your mailman will never know what's in that crate. It looks like it might be a print delivery or something from Amazon. God knows Amazon delivers everything these days. So no one will know. You get to sit in your home and enjoy some really cool, great stuff. So go check them out. Go to sexpositiveme.com, click on the logo for King Crate, and let us know what you think of it. We'd really love to hear feedback on King Crate because a lot of these products, again, they're on the wall behind us, half of the stuff, and we use them on a regular basis. So anyway, going on about the concert. And it's interesting because the concert is normally done in April. Like everything else with COVID, it got pushed over to the end of the year. So they had it in October. They put it together real quick, had a bunch of bands there. It was really cool. But while Angelique did her tarot, I kind of got to sit back and I was the gopher with not much to do. So I got to do people watching for a very, very, very long time. And you know what? There are some very interesting people to watch out there. And one of the things I'm bringing up, and by the way, I'm not ever going to be shaming anyone on this, but there's two times of year where men and women, it's equal on both, can get dressed up in the weirdest costumes and the sluttiest outfits. And you know what? No one cares. That's Halloween and rock concerts. I saw everything. Of course, I had a body painter, so there was painted boobs bouncing around all over the place. But there was every outfit you could think of. There were goth outfits. There were pimp outfits. I actually saw a guy now with his platform shoes. He was at least 6'7", skinny guy, velvet pimp outfit, purple, and his shoes had little and goldfish in them. Now they were fake. I had to go over and ask him, and he did show me them because having live goldfish in your shoes is probably not the best idea, especially if PETA catches you. But literally, it was a 3-inch platform with with water and goldfish, fake goldfish swimming around in them. That is as pimp as you can get, and I found it absolutely amazing. But for those of us out there, again, we live in a society that is occasionally sometimes very repressed. The way we dress, the way we act, the way we do stuff. But then we get to a concert like that, and there were pasties and thongs walking around there. And although it is again mostly adult, it's all adult bands. I mean, not that kids shouldn't be there. Kids definitely were there. There were some kids going around in there, but they had the Monster Girls, who, by the way, looked fantastic for Monster Drink. The amateur wrestling, I never thought of this, but those wrestlers who get up on stage and they get on TV, I'll admit, I'm not a huge fan. Everyone knows it's fake. It's still a performance. But to get there is obviously a long path. And this time they had how would you put it? The amateurs. And it happened that in front of our tent, maybe about 60 feet away, was the actual ring they set up to do this. So we had a great view of the ring. And the dedication of these amateurs was amazing because later in the night, one of them got thrown into a trash can and then kicked and beaten, whatever. And it was, of course, a girl beating the guy. But what I looked at was that's an actual real trash can. No one actually looked to see what was in there. I'm assuming there was no glass in there because he came out okay. But he went headfirst into a trash can. Oh, well. I guess that's dedication in when you want to be a rising star. But the concert went on. I think it started. We were there at like 9 a.m. It went from 11. I think the show ended about 11 p.m. So we're talking like a 12-hour concert. And I got to say, as much it was absolutely amazing. I have never drank so much water in my life and seen so much ass in my life. I mean, I've been to swinger resorts, and my God, there were so many thongs walking around there. But anyway, that's a rock concert, right? Isn't that rock and roll? I guess it is. So let's see what else has been going on. I know we did that on Saturday, and then Sunday we really didn't do a whole lot of nothing because 12 hours in the sun. By the way, I am married to the only Mexican who actually burns in sunlight. Yes, she wears SPF 100, and she might look good wearing it, but she has to go ahead and not burn. But let's see. Let's talk a little bit about our upcoming classes because we do have some coming up, which are going to be quite interesting. First one's going to be coming up next Thursday. Yep. We're going to be doing a class on medical play. And we talked a little bit about this last week about what medical play is. And essentially, medical play is just any type of sexual play, any type of, let's see over here, any type of scene that gets you sexually aroused in a medical setting. Now, we have a class coming up on October 21st. I will be presenting it. And we're going to go through all the different aspects. Well, I shouldn't say all, a lot of different aspects. So essentially, what does it come down to? Playing doctor. So that can be anything from, your nice MD doing an exam on someone. Again, male or female, it's gender inclusive. Or it could be that, cruel gynecologist, cold, or it could be just that nasty orderly and you're in the hospital. There's so many different role playing you can do. And what's great is this is the time to get those outfits. We went out, and of course, when you're thinking about Halloween, where do you go? Spirit, because every abandoned building has a spirit store somewhere, right? Anyway, we ended up going out there and let's see. We ended up getting medical robes. What is it? Not the speculums. I already had those. What do you listen to a heartbeat with? And I know my station manager is probably going to join in. Stethoscope. We ended up getting some fake syringes, and you turn it into one hell of a hot scene doing medical play on that. But we're having like I said, a class coming up on October 21st to go over medical play. If you're interested in that, go ahead and go to fairvilla.com, click on education, because yes, as much as this is going to be entertaining, it is education, because we're going to show you how to do it right and safely. Safety is, of course, the most important thing. And click on register now, and there are tickets there. They're not expensive. They're like $15 per ticket. But again, it's virtual. So you don't need a ticket for everyone. You just get one for your whole household. And we're going to go over several things like, let's see, how to involve speculums. Yes, I said speculums in your scene, or how to, administer a breast exam. Yes, that can be a hell of a lot of fun. I guarantee you more fun than what they do in the doctor's office. But we're going to have that. We're going to have other classes coming up towards the end. Actually, no, we're going to be doing some in November and December. We're going to take off. However, I think it's time I want to go ahead and change the subject for a little bit, because Miss Angelique, who is not here today, her birthday is tomorrow. And I am planning a whole bunch of stuff. As you know, she is a Disney nut, but she's also a sex nut. So it's Tuesday. I can't really bring her to a swing club. Yeah, swing clubs are not, they're usually not open. There's a few resorts, but most of them, especially if you go to like a Trapeze or a Miami Velvet or something like a Colette, these are, again, clubs that usually have a couple different locations. They're usually opened Thursday through Saturday, sometimes Wednesday through Sunday. But Mondays and Tuesdays, it's always closed. I don't know. Tuesdays, kid night at Pizza Hut. But they're usually closed during that time, so we can't go there. And then she's traveling Thursday, and she's heading off to a 3-city road trip. Well, I wouldn't call it a road trip because she's getting on an airplane. But she's going to be heading out to Arizona for something called, what is that? She Podfest? She Fest? I'm trying to remember what it was now. In Arizona. And it is called, I'm looking for the thing, She Podfest, where she is going to, yep, there it is, She Podcast Live. She's actually going to be presenting on censorship. Censorship has been a huge thing in the news lately, both in and out of the sex industry. But you probably know the mainstream stuff, that obviously there's a lot of political aspects currently going around about censorship, whether Facebook should or should not be censoring stuff. And I don't want to go down that political one. That's a conversation I do not want to have. However, there are things coming up that is going to affect the sex industry as a whole. As I understand it, coming up in a few days, the 15th to be exact, MasterCard is going to be rendering let me go look this up right now. MasterCard is going to be rendering a big decision. Where is this coming from? Well, if you remember, OnlyFans said they were going to go ahead and ban adult material. So here's the problem. We have several sites like this over the years that have been made profitable by the adult industry, whether it's porn or whether it's something in the adult industry, has made them a huge amount of money. It also made other people some money too. I'm not going to go ahead and say we haven't. However, once they get to a point where OnlyFans is now like a $4 billion company, that's amazing. That's not million, billion. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to ban adults, or they said they were, and then they pulled their decision back because it created such a backlash. Uh, but OnlyFans is really interesting because it allows the average person at home to set up a page, to put content out there, and then go ahead and make some money off of it. Now, over the years, especially with COVID, that people haven't been able to leave their house, a lot of people have found out they could make a living off of this. There's this great story about a nurse who basically couldn't work. I mean, she was watching people die on a regular basis every day, emotionally overwhelming, had to take care of her kids, made more money doing a OnlyFans page than to go ahead and keep her nursing job. Well, some people will say, oh, that's not something you do. You should have a real job. But she had to take care of her kids, and it's better than collecting unemployment. She made a lot of money. Put your moral judgment aside. I think she did a great job on it. But now they're going to go ahead and supposedly take this away. Now, OnlyFans said, well, we backed off. OnlyFans said, okay, we're not going to go ahead and do this. But the reason why we thought about it is because we're getting pressure from MasterCard and Visa. So now the credit card companies, all the focus switched over to them. Now, if you think about it, how much of the stuff you do and buy, of the money, any of the money you spend, is through Visa or MasterCard? Really, who walks around with cash? And more importantly, think about everything online. If you can't do Visa and MasterCard, what can you do? So, excuse me. Visa and MasterCard, I believe right now it's MasterCard is the one who's spearheading this, are saying it's their decision to go ahead and ban sexually explicit material on OnlyFans. But they really won't give a reason. I mean, they said some what I will call bullshit reasons that, well, there's too many chargebacks. And that was, true in the 90s when people were still hiding this. Nowadays, come on. Everyone watches porn in some aspect or another, either whether you hate it or you love it. The majority of people, in one way or another, I watch porn with my wife. I mean, it's entertainment, but you need to take it as entertainment. Anyway, that's another subject. But now, MasterCard is in the spotlight because OnlyFans has said, well, the reason we were thinking of banning the adult content was because MasterCard told us they would, not accept, they would take away their ability to accept payments unless they did this. So now all the focus went to MasterCard. And now MasterCard is going to be rendering an answer because obviously to do something this big is going to take some time. Now, if you think about it, the adult industry generates billions a year in revenue just in the United States. Billions. Now, billions is no longer a great big, as big as it used to be in, maybe the 90s, but still, billions has a hell of a lot of money. And unfortunately, there are these groups, evangelical people who have a war on porn that are pressuring MasterCard to do this. So think about how this is going to go down. If MasterCard says you can no longer, on any site, pay for porn with MasterCard, where do we go? Well, we're going to discuss that more in just a moment here on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. And we're back talking about, well, MasterCard and sex on Sex Positive Me. But I want to go ahead and bring up one of our sponsors, SDC.com. SDC is a great site to interact with other people, open minded singles, couples, swingers, kinksters. Um, we have articles out on SDC.com. We broadcast on SDC. We have videos out there. Essentially, if it's a place to go ahead and explore and connect with like minded people like us. Also, we've been trying to do one class a month and give it free to SDC members. That won't be the medical class, but we are putting together another class, hopefully by the end of November, maybe mid November. We're trying to figure one out, but we're revamping a lot of stuff in the November and December months. So next year, we're going to have one class per month that is free for anyone who's on SDC. So go ahead and go there. Signing up is actually free. However, if you do go ahead and pay for a subscription, which we have for years, we have been on the site since 2010, and we've made a lot of connections. We've made a lot of friends off of here. What's really nice is they have a video feature so you can talk to people before you meet them. Again, it can be a scary world out there, but it's nice to be able to talk to someone, not just on the phone, but through video, and do it anonymously without sharing your phone number. But if you're a voyeur, if you're an exhibitionist, if you just want to go out there and socialize a bit, it is a great, great place. I love the fact that the moderators actually keep it safe too. As I said, safety is our priority. If someone gets complained about enough, they're gone, and I love that. So check them out. It's sdc.com, and hopefully, tune into our show. We're going to be broadcasting tonight at 7 p.m. on SDC. So check it out. There we can be a little bit more raunchy than what we can on Facebook. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about MasterCard. So apparently, MasterCard controls 40% of the credit card industry, combined with Visa. I'm trying to look for the percentage here. Well, if you think about it, what credit cards are out there? There's Visa and MasterCard, which I don't care. They're the same. American Express, and then a few little ones, and there's like with Diners Club, if they still exist. Of course, Discover. But everything else is like, a store card, a Sears credit card, a Kohl's. I think I have an Old Navy credit card. So anyway, everyone seems to have their own credit card, but even those credit cards turn into Visas or MasterCard. So if they go ahead and say, as MasterCard, we're no longer going to accept payments for products such as anything in the adult industry, one, where would that end? And what I mean is, if you go to a doctor and you're getting a breast implant, is that now something for the adult industry? Can it go that far? Can they go ahead and say, well, it's, and I know at this moment some of you are laughing, going, no, that would be ridiculous. But if they're banning any type of payments to the adult industry, the first thing you're thinking about is porn. However, us as sex educators actually have a hard time advertising classes like the one you just saw. Last month, we unfortunately had to cancel it. We did a class, we're going to do a class on bisexuality, which was a class, again, enlightening and giving people resources on how to either come out or come to terms with it or talk with your partners. We're unable to advertise that on social media. And chances are we would be unable to sell tickets to that class because it had sexual content, which leads us to this next jump. One of our sponsors, the Florida Center for Hormones and Wellness, also has problems advertising on social media because they deal with erectile dysfunction and hormone changes that may happen with you, either early in life or even later in life as you get into your golden years. However, they're also grouped in with the adult industry and they are banned from advertising on social media. Where does this stop? If MasterCard now says no payments for adult products, well, that could include not just porn, but any type of toys, paddles, floggers, any type of BDSM equipment. It may include your doctor visit if it's not technically medical. I mean, it's a very gray, fine line area about, well, you're getting breast implants. Have you lost your breast due to cancer? No. Well, then it's vanity, and therefore it's part of the adult industry, and MasterCard will not process your payment. Now, will it go that far? Most likely not. But the point is, there's this whole gray area of what the hell? Where does this end? But if this comes through and MasterCard does ban adult material like that, there are literally a few million content producers, adult content producers, models, whether you're doing lingerie, nudity or still photos or video or even something like the naked news, which I love the naked news. I really wish my cable company held it. But stuff like that now, all those workers are now displaced. Because I guarantee you, if that happened, it's going to be a month, perhaps even a matter of weeks or days before those companies have to go ahead and lay people off. Now, obviously, with the way the last 2 years have gone with COVID, there's a lot of people on unemployment. One thing you may not know is a lot of people, even though they pay taxes, even though they're down as a 1099 employee, some are W-2 employees, have been refused because of the unemployment, because of the industry they're in. And one of them I'll call out right there is our great state of Texas. Yeah, they refuse to pay anyone in the adult industry unemployment, even though they've paid into the unemployment system. Does that sound fair to you? I don't think it is. So we're all waiting, and I believe it is the 15th that we're going to be hearing from MasterCard. But this actually opens up a whole nother concept, a whole nother problem, actually. And that is that when you go ahead and produce your content and you put it up on OnlyFans or you put it up, even it'll say the non-adult sites, YouTube, they technically own a portion of that content. So you make a video. I don't care what it is. We'll say it's that person, the kid that was opening toys and did toy reviews, right? Remember that? A couple of years ago, a mother would buy her son toys, have him wrap them, have him open them up, and video him playing with it and basically post it as a review. And they got millions upon millions of hits. I mean, the woman was making 6 figures a month off of these video hits. However, you got to know, though, YouTube or OnlyFans or whoever is the intermediary in that situation is making obviously money off of it. Go to YouTube now, they sell YouTube subscription that you have to pay for. Otherwise, what do you get? Ads. Those ads generate revenue. They make a lot of money off of your content. Now, when you put content up, yes, you have the right to delete it. However, when you put content up, they have the right to recommend and show it as much or as little as they want. Now, a few years ago, YouTube stopped recommending, even if you're over 18, any material having to do with sex. I know this because it affected our industry in the sense that our classes and our online classes were no longer found unless you knew exactly what to search for. So this campaign against sex is one of the most, the more you get into it, the more you're amazed at how interesting and how unfair it is. Because in the scope of it all, when you compare it to other industries, there are sites putting out hate sites, Nazi sites that seem to get away with more shit than the adult industry. And again, when you see the adult industry, I know people think immediately XXX porn, tasteless stuff. No, I'm talking tasteful stuff. I'm talking about pictures. I'm talking about feminist porn. And feminist porn, I think, it's a horrible word for it. But what it means is porn that's friendly to women, and the performers in those films aren't made to do things they don't want to do. They're paid fairly. They have rights to again, they're treated fairly is the best way to go with, because not everyone in any industry, in the adult industry, it's very easy to get scumbags to take advantage of you. But anyway, I will digress for a moment. Let's see, we have covered a lot today. We talked about coming out, Earthday Birthday, music festival, our medical play class, costumes and when it's okay to be whorish, as well as, oh, we talked a little bit on Angelique's birthday and MasterCard. Well, we'll separate those two. So, Angelique's birthday. I'm going to tell a little story here. Since Angelique was 16, she has been trying to get to Paris. Paris, France, not Paris, Vegas, because I already took her there, and apparently that's not a good enough substitute. So she's been taken to Paris, France, and she has had stuff like the Gulf War breakout. Okay, that trip was canceled. The baby daddy file papers wanting sole custody. All right, she's not going there. It has been, well, COVID recently because it was her 45th birthday. So about every decade or two, we try to get to Paris and world things happen. So I'm going to go ahead and do my best to get her to Paris for New Year's. I think it would be a great idea to go ahead and, again, I know it's considered a romantic city. I also know it's considered a dirty city. Not dirty in the fun way like we talk. But we're going to try to make it to Paris for New Year's. And I don't think anything could be more romantic. Yes, we do romance. Swingers do get romantic. We just want to let everyone know that. And we're going to go ahead and try to get out to Paris for New Year's. Assuming, of course, the borders are open. I need to check out and see what those border situations are. So, sorry, I'm losing my voice from the concert. Ended up screaming most of the concert, but unfortunately, the last week has not been as, we'll say, sexually exciting. Doesn't mean we're not having great sex. It's just that there haven't been any events or anything going on. I was planning on going to, I want to bring this out here, a puppy event. So apparently there are groups. I have not attended one yet, but there are groups all over the country. The one I'm looking at is called the Hound Pound. I'm bringing them up. Then I'm going to go check out, and essentially it is a group of puppies. Yes, human puppies, not little puppies. When you do a search for puppy play and you get guys in mask, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So I actually thought it was last night. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It was Saturday night. I was exhausted. I didn't make it. But the idea of a group of puppies and critters. Critters is technically the term for them. We're not furries. We're not furries because we're not furry. Yes, that's true. But we'll be checking those out in the upcoming months. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and do a little break over here a little early and talk about our last sponsor. But we'll be back in a little bit on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. May cut it just a little early. We'll see.
That's fine. I'm right here with you.
I feel
you okay?
you. I'm doing fine.
Everything okay? Okay.
Yeah, everything's good. And we're back here with Sex Positive Me. So the one thing I've noticed is for the year and a half, 2 years that we've had to deal with COVID, we have all been indoors, right? Dying to get out. I know there's still, a lot of concern out there. There's a lot of stuff going on about masks. But for 2 years, we really haven't done anything. And I think this has caused a huge backlog. Because once things went well since July to August, there has been stuff going on every week, whether it's concerts, whether it's swinger events, whether it's everything. But it's also been a backlog, and I'm kind of asking my audience here if anyone's having these same problems. I have had the hardest time getting appointments. Example, it's taken me currently since June to get an appointment with my tattoo artist that I'm supposed to see on Thursday. Hopefully, it doesn't cancel. Had a great canceled the third time. I really can't be upset. His kid decided to go ahead and take a wooden box or no, so an Amazon box and ride it down the staircase and ended disastrously. And in the hospital, he's okay now. He's getting a new crown, but again, I can't really fault the guy for taking care of his kid. But I'm noticing this backlog of everything. Like people are dying to get out, but a bunch of us are not sure about getting out. And even stuff like a doctor's appointment or a therapist appointment. I have friends that are trying to get an appointment now with their dentist, and they're getting pushed 3 and 4 months out. And I'm looking at stuff like we were going to go to one of the resorts down in Mexico for New Year's. And unfortunately, talking about a backlog, I had to send my passport in to get renewed. Normally, that takes what? About 4 to 6 weeks. Let's try 14 weeks it took for them to go ahead and get my passport renewed. I had sent it in. They cashed a check 3 weeks later. Not the check. Yeah, it was a check they had to put in 3 weeks later. And still, I had to wait and wait and wait 14 weeks to get my passport renewed. And again, now everything is booked. It's amazing. I'm finding that you need to book your New Year's plans now. It's not even Halloween, but if you don't have something booked for New Year's, you may not get it. And I know a lot of people are still in reserve because they don't know what's going on with COVID. I don't know if the borders are going to be open if I want to leave the country. It don't matter. We're looking at cruise lines that are filling up. Royal Caribbean just posted this morning $49 a day for certain weeks, and it is selling out. So, just as a note, if you're going to go and make crazy ass plans like we are, or try to, well, Paris is crazy ass, or you're just looking to get to a theme park or whatever, start looking now because there is such a backlog of people wanting to do stuff. Well, now that the gates are somewhat opened and the vaccines are out, people are doing it, and there's more of us out there than ever. So, just a warning from your friendly neighborhood social people. But on that note, I'd like to go ahead and thank our sponsors, One Condoms, Kink Crate, and SDC. If you like this content and you want to see more of it, check out our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and look for sexpositiveme.com. If you hit subscribe, it will let you know when we're broadcasting. And we will be broadcasting tonight as well as on SDC for Date Night with the Lunas. Also, check us out on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, where we try to be as active as we can on that. And next week, I'm going solo, but this time I will be prepared. I'm going to be solo because Miss Angelique is going to be at Disneyland. Yes, I'm going to be at Disney World, or at least 3 miles from Disney World. She's going to be at Disneyland. Yeah, we're going to be 4,000 miles apart. But she's going to have a blast. This is her birthday trip. She's going to Arizona to SheFest to broadcast. To present on censorship. Then going to Disneyland. Then going to Boston. And I know some of you are waiting to hear what's going on with that Boston trip. I am one of you. So as soon as we find out, we'll go ahead and let you know. But I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I will be here next week. So see you next time on Sex Positive Me on BFAM 109.6. See you later.